Hey, Doug Upstone here for Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. Today is May the 4th. We have a huge weekend of sports betting action, including the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. So that will be fascinating as always. And actually might even have some picks on that for the members, unfortunately. But if you want to become a member, you certainly can. Okay, here's what it is. Inner Circle membership. You're going to get 5 of the best handicappers there are in the business. Okay, guys, all these guys' picks are documented. Okay, they're winners. They've been in the business for a number of years. I'm trying to think of the one with the least amount of experience. I think is probably 8 years. Like I'm not even sure about that. I think Kyle Hunter's probably been 10, but right in there, at least 10 years. Okay, is what you're going to get. So you get all that information. These guys win. Now, you're going to get their best bets. Now, if you went to buy the best bets of, let's just say, 5 different handicappers, okay, just not even including myself, 5 different guys. If you went to buy the best bets, it's going to cost you at least $150 a day, if not $250 or more, okay? So you have that. Plus, then the information that you get from Wise Guy picks, from trends, from super systems, that would be part of essentially what is a newsletter. And that newsletter is going to cost you at least $7 a day, at least, okay? But for here, you become a Vegas Pro Insiders Daily Inner Circle member for $99.99 a month. You're going to get the whole package, everything. So some people say to me, well, why so inexpensive? Because I want you to save money, okay? I want you, when you win, to keep more of your money. That's the whole point of sports betting, is for you to keep the money. Sure, you're going to have to pay something for expertise, but the idea is you make the money, you put the money out, you make the money, we want you to keep it. Simple as that. All right, so hey, let's get to the weekend action. And we have baseball and basketball in particular. So far, no real big line moves in the NHL for the Stanley Cup playoffs, so nothing there, but we'll be covering any number of different things. So let's get started. Let's go to ESPN tonight for the couple of basketball games. Golden State is at New Orleans. Now, if you thought the first 2 games were played at a rapid pace, evidently they're going to be played even faster, at least according to the sports books in the Big Easy. The first 2 games easily went over. The last contest closed at 2:29, and this game 3 is opening at 2:30, and it's been pushed to 2:32. Wow. Okay. Now we know the with the home crowd. Okay. Even though the Pelicans are down 2-0, they're going to be excited. So New Orleans is going to be ready to go full bore. Here's the thing, though. Are you really? If they want to play like Golden State, but do you really expect them to outscore Golden State? That to me really is the question. And if New Orleans' goal is to win the game, which of course it is, they're going to have to play some defense, right, in order to stop them. Because if you're going to get in a game in the 220s, anything like that, I just can't see them winning that game. So I think there's going to be just enough defense in this game to go under the 232. And Golden State, by the way, is 26-10 under on the road when the total is 230 or higher. Keep that in mind as well. Next up is the second game of the day, which is Houston at Utah. That's also going to be on ESPN right after the other game. Now, in this one, Houston astonished the basketball world with their Game 2 upset at Houston. So that was pretty remarkable. And how they did it was really flabbergasting because they did it with offense, not defense, which I think caught everybody off guard. You figure that if Houston scores 111 points or more, or 108, they're going to win the game, right? They might not cover against a team like Utah, but they win the game. But that didn't happen. So what's going on for tonight? Well, first of all, Houston has gone from a 3.5 point favorite up to 4.5, and the total has come down from 207 to 205.5. So I think the general thinking is that Jazz defense at home is going to be jazzed up. Okay, so they're going to be ready to go, make this happen. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I think that the Rockets offense is so good, and I think their focus is going to be a lot better because there was no focus the other night except for maybe the third quarter. So with that being in mind, I think we're looking. I'm not going to say a big over total, but if this game ends up at 210, is anybody going to really be surprised? So I like the over. And I just mentioned about Houston, the focus. I actually bet the game myself at 3.5. 4.5 starting to get a little queasy on that one. So I'm just going to lean with Houston at 4.5 on that. All right, so that's the story. So Houston and the over. Excuse me, and the under. I'm confusing myself. Houston and the under. That's what I meant to say, and that's my final story. All right, let's go to some baseball. Philadelphia and Washington. Pretty interesting series. Now, Philadelphia's in first place, near first place, excuse me. They've played well. But Washington just swept a 4-game series at home against Pittsburgh, and they've won 5 in a row. So that's why it's a little confusing to me that because the Phillies have lost their last 3 series, that they're a falling favorite, down from plus 135 to 120. Now, I know that the analytics crowd doesn't like Gio Gonzalez for any number of different reasons. I'm not going to go into a whole diatribe about that right here. And the fact that when Philadelphia has won 3 or more games, Gonzalez and his teammates are only 4-11 when he starts in that situation. So I get that, okay, but I still think I like the left-hander, okay. I think Philadelphia's in a bit of a slump. Washington's playing really well right now at home. I think they take care of the Phillies in this divisional confrontation. No problem. They beat them. Okay, simple as that. Now let's talk some series baseball trying to make some series bets. First up, we've got some couple of good competitive series. The Chicago Cubs are going to their arch rival, St. Louis, for the weekend. Now, St. Louis is a minus 130 favorite. And looking at the starting matchups, starting pitching matchups as they are right now, they're pretty close. I think all of them are very competitive. So I think the reason that St. Louis has the advantage is because they're playing at home. Now, with this, though, I'm looking at, I can see the St. Louis, they got a bit of an advantage in game 1. Okay, Quintana has only really pitched well. The Cubs' Quintana has only pitched well against the Brewers and pretty much not anybody else this season. So I'm going to give the edge to St. Louis in the opener. But in games 2 and 3, I think the pitching matchups are very close, and I think the potential deciding factor in both those games is going to be the bullpen, because that's where baseball is at these days. And with that being the case, the Cubs have the better bullpen. Doesn't mean that's how it always works out, but they do have the better bullpen. They have especially when they get in that 7, 8, 9 innings, they can certainly shut down the Cardinals. And they've won 12 of their last 19 at Busch Stadium. I like the Cubs to take this series. Next up, in the AL West, boy, oh boy, oh boy, it could not be any tighter. This would be great. If this was September, this would be fantastic. And it's still good right now, even though it's early May. The Angels, the Mariners, and Houston are all within a half game of one another. So it is really tight. So with the Angels at Seattle, should be an extra interesting series. And I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised that the Halos are a minus 140 road favorite at Seattle. In the first game, Mike Leake certainly hasn't pitched well yet for Seattle, and maybe he won't. But Garrett Richards had a couple of good starts, but then he was lousy in his last one. So I don't think there's that much of a disparity between the two, and that kind of game kind of could go either way, in my opinion. I think the Halos have a distinct advantage in Game 2 with Tyler Skaggs, who has been pitching really well. And at the moment, anyways, I think you have to give the edge in the series finale to Felix Hernandez and the Mariners because they're going against the most unpredictable pitcher in baseball, undecided. So with that in mind, now granted that could be Ohtani. Okay, we're going to see how his ankle responds probably tonight to some light tossing and see if he'd be ready to go on Sunday. So that probably won't be decided until later. On that one. But I look at this series, Seattle's on a really nice 7-2 move. They look good, hitting the ball, swinging the bats. But the Angels, the Halos, 11-2 on the road. Jeez, how do you not take that one up? I'm going to go, even though it's a number I really am not crazy about, I think I can see the Angels taking 2 out of 3 here with that one. Finally, the last game I got for you, Saturday in the NBA. Boston, Philadelphia, ESPN, 5:05, starting time, Eastern time. Now, with this betting angle that's happening in this game, it reminds me of being in a casino and seeing somebody playing roulette, and this person only bets black. Okay, so they bet black and they lose 10 times in a row betting black. Okay, so then they bet black again, it hits. And then you hear them say, "See, I told you black was going to win." Okay, that's kind of how I'm looking at this series. Now, the total on this game, the first two games, by the way, Boston and Philadelphia have both been overs. The total on this game, again, started at this time a little bit higher number at 208, but again, for a third straight time, the total has come down to 206.5. I don't know. I'm not saying it won't go under. It's always a possibility that could be the case, but I'm not betting that direction. Look at this. Boston is on 11-2 over run. Philly is 6-3 in their last 9 over. It's at Philly. Philly needs points. I'm going to go with the over on that one. I think that's going to be the stronger play. So, hey, that's everything I got. What is that? 7 plays, I think, for you. Free plays for this upcoming weekend, and some information on other games from the series betting. So take that under consideration. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby. I certainly will. I'm going tonight to see the world champion Houston Astros against Arizona, so that will be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Have a great weekend. I certainly will. You enjoy. Doug Upstone, Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. I am out.